Because I think facade is not only from building scale perspective, but it's also from people's perspectives, from the space, and it's from master planning perspective as well. And I'm a master planner myself. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Monique. I'm a regional board director in Broadway Malyan. I'm based in Singapore. And before moving to Singapore, joining Broadway Malyan, I've been working with KPF in London, and I was working in Rotterdam and in Delft as well. And before that, I was living in Kuala Lumpur. A little bit about Broadway Malyan. We are a multidisciplinary design practice with passion in creating places and our global reach. So in Asia Pacific, UK, EMEA, and Americas, it gives us the versatility to bring together the interdisciplinary teams, while our local presence regionally in Asia Pacific, we have in Singapore, where I'm based, and Shanghai, in Mumbai, and also we have a rep office in Jakarta. And it gives the more personable and responsive approach as well to the projects and to our clients. And we are taking a very integrated approach in our design solutions, which often gives us the unique edge from our competitors. So it's from the master planning to the architecture to public realm to landscape architecture, interior, and also branding and graphic design wayfinding that often gives us the edge, like how we can think of the visions of the project and take it all the way through. Some of the projects that we have done globally. So we have done Miami cruise terminal in Miami that we've won through competitions against some of the best architects. We've also working on a master plan in Australia from the Singapore studio as well, in Springfield. It's knowledge center and healthcare as well, and education. And also the one on the left, Man Island in Liverpool, which is a BREEAM excellence, and it's polished with black granite and glass contrast heritage site, because it's a UNESCO heritage site, and reflections on the textures, and also Al-Ra. We've done a lot in Abu Dhabi. In Indonesia, some of the projects that you probably have seen, the one on the right, Chibis, that was our first project in Indonesia. I think that was presented in the last PERAFI webinar from my colleague, Ian. We've done quite a lot of diverse range as well in Indonesia. We've done the Promenade 57, which is more like a mixed use site, Unica campus in Semarang, 7.8 in Sudirman, that was the first phase. And we've also working on regeneration projects. We're still working on this site in Doli in Surabaya. So working with existing communities and local stakeholders to get urban transformation based on the participatory planning. So this was working with the UKF CDO and also Surabaya city government. In Indonesia itself, we are not only working in the big cities. We've done a lot of projects. I think it's probably about more than 50 projects in Indonesia, and but also in the second, third tier cities. We work even in Pulau Nias and Lok Sumawe. Back to our topic today about like how we can create identity and using facade to unify the place aesthetically. The first point that I want to talk about is the facade as a placemaking, and how do we create a memorable place. And for this point, I'm going to use one of our projects. This is East Village in Calgary, Canada. And East Village has been the subject of planning strategies for decades, until CMLC then took the opportunity and developed, starting with the international competitions, which we've won, and then we've taken further, and the vision to enhance the city's sense of place. And East Village used to be a derelict area. There are lots of crimes. This is where people would avoid to go to. So it's kind of creating like a gap in the city fabric. And previously it was fragmented. So our initial approach when we started the project was from the brand perspective and from the vision, and that we take that the East Village needs an identity, because people want to live somewhere and not just anywhere. And because somewhere means a sense of belonging and you are part of it. And Calgary is also defined by people, by its people, and we tap into their creative energy as their renewable and sustainable energy source. So it is about the people, and then it becomes a canvas and an open source community that starts with an identity and sense of place. We're keeping the old grain and also introducing the visual corridors. So there's connecting the urban and nature, but also in the framework of the master plan, where there's the civic corridor, the heritage corridor, the gateway corridor, and this will inform again later like how we can carve have like the enclosures that frame the space. So this was the vision for the concept master plan at that time. And just showing a bit of a video. So this was the site. It's by the river, and about 50 hectares master plan for a population of about 12,000, where they can enjoy the riverside walk. It has the island nature park, the urban squares, and these spaces are framed by the architecture form as well that we mentioned previously, like the public library sits along the Gateway Corridor, and there's the National Music Center buildings, Bow Valley College, the restored heritage building as well. And this master plan enabled the immediate sale of 50% development parcels by creating this vibrant street life. And when we look at the development, there are also like different segments of society. So how we can bring in the early stage of the developments. And the one that we focus on are like the urban, what we call this, the urban pioneers, just graduate singles, young professionals. And so you can see how sort of the visions that started earlier on, taking all the way through into the facade, into the enclosures that carried through the place identity, framing the open space. And there are lots of building, the role of the master planners that bring it all together, and then taking through the placemaking elements as well. So this was like a before and after, that before it was a no-go area. And after urban regeneration projects, combining with art, civic, and cultural activities. That was about the placemaking. And the second point to explore how we can create identity is by designing through scales. Like I want to take this from the master planning vision, and it can be carried through all the way. And for this point, I would like to use one of our project that is closer to home. So this is GTC Parung as a case study, and this is between Bogor and Jakarta, the site is. So how we can take from the neighborhood scale to the plaza, and then to the street, and then to the building and the facade. So it's about a 6 hectares site that we are looking at as of like a mixed use site, but it's part of the larger township between Jakarta and Bogor, and it has the main frontage. On this master plan, we are also starting with like looking at the questions like what would make this place unique. And so there are sort of like 3 key that we kind of like wanted to use it for the mixed use site. So how we can create this village concept with an open air format, and also creating diversity of places. So how it can also be like a canvas, creating canvas for placemaking. And this was planned before the pandemic, and we're already thinking about these aspects. Now with the pandemic, we probably would even make the open space bigger, or they could create like family leisure destinations. And a good master plan always has to have the flexibility. So in this master plan, also we are looking at creating mixed use urban neighborhoods, but also looking at different type of retail types. So there are shop houses, strata retail, and it can be leased individually, feature apartments, series of open space, and pedestrian promenade. So that's the night view of the master plan. And this is the square, what we call the Alun-Alun South, with indoor-outdoor F&B, and how we can bring the community together. And we see how the facades of like the visions, like creating this individuality as well, being taken into the master plan scale, and how we can also create biodiversity through public open space. We're already thinking about these characters, and then it makes it easier to then going through to the next level of scales. So now we are looking at the next scale, which is the street and the retail strip. So again, we have this creating this modular shop house design that can be applied to whole developments. So it's looking at the individuality, but also as a strip, as in a cohesive design. So we're taking the ideas that it is like a shop house concept, where you start and then you can grow your businesses, and that is flexible to suit the owner's need. So we're looking at how we can frame the identity. Like this is a 2 typology that we developed. So there are like this can accommodate even 2 shop houses, or you can also get 1 shop house like together, and then it can be split, it can be grow as well, it can be two units joined together, it can be 1 shop, 2 shops, or even 4 or 6. And there's the balance between the individuality, so you can have like your signage, but how it all being fit into the cohesive retail facade framework in a way that it doesn't become messy as well. So this is the street level perspective, and it's under construction. So we can see how from like the master plan scale and then taking to the street level scales, and also it's on the typology, and that could actually strengthen the identity of the place. Next, on the building scale, this is the sales gallery, and it becomes the icon, and design aspiration is to create flexibility, but also to get the unique user journey experience. So from the outside, that it experience with the lush tropical landscape, and then to the interior that is blurring the boundary between the indoor and outdoor, and also taking the space configurations between the public and the semi-private or private, and also bringing the modularity concept, like from the exterior facade and then to the interior as well. So we have that modularity as well in the master planning scale, and then we're taking it to the street levels, and then we're taking it to the building levels, and also now into the facade and some of the details of the facade, and also that you can see that it's taken through the visions from the concept master plan, and it helps to tell the story, but it also helps to strengthen the visions of the place itself. So this is the overall look of the sales gallery and the construction for those. How we can use master plan guidelines, like an urban design guidelines, as a toolkit. And this also includes the facade design. One of our projects, which is closer to where I am now in Singapore, in Health City Novena, as a case study. It's a 17-hectare site with an existing hospitals, and there are multi-stakeholders as well. And the vision for Health City Novena is to create an integrated community of healthcare with medical education, translational research in a vibrant and sustainable communal environment. So we can see that when we started on the master plan, we have the existing hospital, the Tan Tock Seng Hospital is already there, a National Skin Center, and there are also buildings that are under design when we started. And it also has multi-stakeholders, including several public and private hospitals, education. So for this complex master plan, the guidelines becomes very useful in creating a cohesive design with the where the public transport stops, where it would connect the MRT, the interbuilding skybridge connections as well, and how the cladding of that interbuilding skybridge connectivity. There are two sort of levels on that. There's medical levels and there's the public levels, and how that link with the medical planning of each buildings. And also there are a lot of like different open spaces and the characters. So this also creates like the landscape guidelines, and then it's taking through how the landscape guidelines could also bring into the building facade to the space. And also the basement connectivity strategy, ground floor experience, the lighting. So it's as part of the master plan guidelines, so we did like sort of a general master plan urban design guidelines, and then we do a more specific plot level guidelines. So this helps to guide. So it's not intended to limit the creativity, but rather to ensure the quality and overall development cohesiveness. And this master plan is always has to be quite flexible, and to ensure that all future developments are compliant with the overall visions. So we can see here that different architects were also working on the master plan. So taking our guidelines as well. So Ong Tang Fong, which was done by CPG. And then there's the Look Architects, DPA was doing the LKC School of Medicines, and the sky bridges that you can see the two levels, and how that from the guidelines then is taken further. Things like, if too many materials in the non-integrated fashion should be avoided, quantities and the use of materials should be balanced, the sustainability performance, also providing color palette, and also taking the visions of the from the master plan, like how we can also use the brand as well in the branded environments. So this is an image of the community park in Tan Tock Seng with heritage building. So I think that's sort of covers an overview of how we can see facade from a master plan perspective.
Thank you, Monique. I'm just wondering, you work with different clients from different backgrounds, right? Commercial, healthcare. Given the pandemic that we're all in right now, the whole world is changing, right? We are forced to adapt, basically. We don't have any choice. We need to adapt. Are they coming in to you with a different set of requirements?
Yeah, so we often working with our clients, like we like to collaborate with our clients as well in getting that visions. But of course, from our perspective, like, how things are changing, and, it's not just in the open space, but also like residentials are changing the sectors, the retail is changing, where the future trends of retails, and then also workplace. So we take all that into like the vision, so how we can actually bring it into future proofing as well, the developments. So we often develop this together with our clients, like, what's your visions, and then also how we can minimize the risk, how we can future proof for the development as well.
We just need to be like aware and creatively integrate them into the whole vision, right, Monique?
Yeah, so I think that's why where we sit now in Broadway Malyan with our interdisciplinary approach, that we can sort of bring that together, because sometimes, at master plan levels, we might not want to do like a details on certain things, but we can future proof of what that development will be, and that will help also the clients to get like in the case of Calgary, for example, that once the master plan is finished, then the development parcels is sold for like 50% straight away. And that's also already working with like who you were targeting to, like who you're speaking to, who's your audience, and who would be the users as well. So it's all from the people's perspective.
Okay, thank you, Monique, for your sharing this morning.